There exists a quiet tragedy unfolding in our midst, a loss so profound that we have ceased even to perceive the void it has left in our souls. Not merely misplaced, I say, but utterly forgotten. We inhabit an epoch drowning beneath the deluge of information. Never have we been encompassed by such abundance of knowledge, and yet never have we understood so little. We scroll through endless cascades, yet rarely see. We consume torrents of words, yet seldom comprehend. We speak with ceaseless urgency, yet almost never communicate. The mind of modern man has become as a chamber filled with mirrors, bright, reflective, and yet fundamentally empty. 1,000 images, no depth. 1,000 voices, no harmony. 1,000 signals, no meaning. Something essential has slipped through our fingers. A way of seeing, a way of thinking, a way of speaking that once formed the very foundation of what it meant to possess a free and educated mind. They were called the liberal arts. And somewhere in the long drift of history, we have forgotten that for centuries the mind was cultivated as a unified instrument. Today, it lies shattered. Education has degenerated into mere compartments. Mathematics here, language there, science in another isolated chamber, each sealed off like airless rooms in a house with no foundation. The result was entirely predictable. A civilization of specialists who knew everything about their corner of reality and nothing about reality as a whole. But fragmentation is merely the first wound. The second is the collapse of language itself. We speak in algorithmic cliches. Our vocabulary has grown impoverished. Our sentences have withered. Our capacity for meaning has dissolved. When language decays, thought decays with it. For a mind cannot rise above the words that are its dwelling places. The third wound cuts deepest, the erosion of reason. We have inherited the appearances of communication, debates, commentary, but not its substance. Sophistry has supplanted dialectic. Reaction has displaced reflection. Truth has become optional. And finally, the most silent loss of all, the disappearance of a shared intellectual culture. There was a time when all drew from the same foundational curriculum, a common grammar of thought, a shared logic of clarity, a unified rhetoric of meaning. Today, that inheritance lies broken. We no longer share a foundation, only noise. And when a society forgets how to think, how to speak, how to reason, it forgets how to be free. What then were the liberal arts in their original conception? The term liberal derives from the Latin term liber, signifying free. These were the arts befitting a free person, as distinguished from one who labors under necessity. In ancient Greece, education was divided into two categories: the mechanical arts, agriculture, navigation, crafts. These produced external goods. They were the arts of survival, of necessity. And then there's the liberal arts: grammar, logic, rhetoric, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. These produced no commodity. Instead, they wrought transformation. They changed the very person who studied them. As Aristotle declared, the liberal arts liberate us by enlarging and expanding our choices. They elevate man from necessity to possibility, from bondage to freedom. Their purpose was not utility. Their purpose was liberation. And behold, they were organized with exquisite precision into two divisions: the Trivium, the sacred triad, the three arts of language; grammar, which is the art of symbolizing reality; logic, which is the art of understanding reality; and rhetoric, which is the art of communicating reality. And then there was the Quadrivium, the four arts of number: arithmetic, number in itself; geometry, number in space; music, number in time; and astronomy, number in motion through space and time. Together, these 7 disciplines formed a ladder of ascent, from word to reason, from reason to harmony, from harmony to cosmos, from cosmos to wisdom. The medieval scholars preserved this verse: grammar speaks, logic teaches, rhetoric adorns words, music sings, arithmetic counts, geometry measures, astronomy cultivates the stars. This was no mere mnemonic. It was a map of reality itself. But here we approach the heart of the matter. This system was built on a profound metaphysical vision, the belief that the universe was not chaos, but cosmos, an ordered whole governed by eternal principles that the human mind could comprehend. Nature possessed a grammar. Being operated according to a logic. The heavens moved according to a music. And because the human mind reflected this universal order, it could understand these principles. The liberal arts were the tools through which the soul learned to resonate with the fundamental order of reality. When Christianity emerged, a crisis arose. The liberal arts were pagan in origin, born in Greece, refined in Rome. Yet they were also the sole means of learning Latin and Greek, the language of Scripture. St. Augustine resolved the dilemma with brilliant insight. He acknowledged the pagan elements but saw beyond them. These works contained liberal instruction, which is better adapted to the use of the truth. Properly directed, these arts could lead the mind toward God himself. This intervention allowed the church to preserve classical learning through the fall of Rome. Scholars like Boethius codified the arts of seven. Owen of York made them the foundation of Charlemagne's educational reforms. For over 1,000 years, this system remained the backbone of Western education. But the decline, when it came, was gradual, then catastrophic. As education became vocational and practical, the liberal arts were redefined. They ceased to be ends in themselves and became mere means to an end. Grammar was reduced to English class. Logic became scattered, critical thinking modules. Rhetoric degenerated into communication skills. The Quadrivium fared worse. Music became performance art. Astronomy became technical astrophysics. The mathematical arts lost their philosophical depth. Most devastating, the unity was shattered. The integrated system became isolated subjects. The ladder of ascent was broken. We forgot that these were tools for learning itself. We forgot that education transforms the person. We forgot that free souls must be cultivated. You may wonder, why does this matter in 2026? Because we are living amidst the wreckage. Every affliction I described, fractured attention, linguistic decay, collapsed reasoning, these are not accidents. They are symptoms of abandoning the liberal arts. Without grammar, minds cannot think clearly about reality. Without logic, they fall prey to fallacies and sophistries. Without rhetoric, they cannot communicate truth persuasively. Without the quadrivium, they lose the sense that the world is an ordered, meaningful whole. But here's the irony. In our age of artificial intelligence, these skills are becoming more valuable, not less. Machines can process data. They cannot think about meaning. Algorithms can generate text. They cannot reason toward truth. AI can optimize outcomes. It cannot persuade with wisdom. The uniquely human capacities, synthesis, judgment, meaningful communication, these are what the liberal arts develop. These are the faculties that cannot be automated. The 7 liberal arts are not relics. They are the buried architecture of a free mind, submerged pillars still supporting structures we no longer recognize. To return to them is not nostalgia. It is recovery, the reclamation of tools we desperately need. The path remains before us, ancient, tested, unchanged. A path older than empires, older than the institutions that abandon it. A path that leads not outward into novelty, but inward into truth. Not forward into uncertain futures, but upward towards wisdom. To master the liberal arts is to become free, free from error, free from confusion, free from bondage to mere opinion. And freedom is the beginning of wisdom. This is the ascent. This is the restoration. This is the return. The question is not whether we can afford to return to the liberal arts. The question is, can we afford not to? Thank you guys all for watching. Have a good rest of your day. All right.